Hey, everybody, this is Munson Steed, CEO, rolling out. We are on a seat at the table, and this is a dynamic moment where we always promise the best, the brightest, and truly subject matter experts that are concerned with the growth of our community, our insights, and truly our experiences, and being able to uplift our community and grow in what we understand as the executive vision today. I am proud of this brother. He has been a true supporter and has an understanding. And when I say support of the community and the complex, because I got to give it to you, Brother Dennis, of just being an executive in corporate America, not an easy position, not one that should be considered lightly, but he does show up. And I'd like to introduce you all here to see at the table to the Executive Vice President, Chief Diversity Officer, Equity, Inclusion, and Culture Officer. Welcome to A Seat at the Table. How are you?
I'm doing well. Happy New Year and good morning to you, Munson. I'm pleasure to be here with you today.
You know, when you think about culture and inclusivity, what would you share with young executives thinking about going into corporate America and what they can anticipate that you may not have anticipated when there wasn't a chief diversity officer to welcome you?
I think that's a great question. And, what I would say to people is, value those aspects of your diversity that you have gained through lived experiences and have a positive perception of what you can contribute to the company that you're with or the business that you're affiliated with. Difference is strength, and valuing what makes you different, and having the courage to bring that into a work environment is something that I encourage young people to do, particularly as they're thinking about their careers.
You know, taking a position in banking, where we know that our community has faced redlining, we know that it has not always had executives like yourself in the C-suite and in positions like that. What would you say today, why you take such a challenge? Because that is a challenge. It is a challenge to be where you are. So what are you bringing, obviously, and what would you like to see the industry continue to do with you being present?
I think we have a responsibility and accountability to be fully inclusive. And, our model here at Huntington is welcome, and that means welcome to all. And we want to ensure that first and foremost, we're looking out for people, that people have access to banking services. And, I am accountable as part of this industry and part of the leadership team of Huntington specifically to use my voice and my skills and my platform to ensure that we're doing that.
You know, most don't have the access. If you were giving a speech at an HBCU, college or university, why should those young people consider finance or being in the finance business and industry as a career option?
I think a lot of those young people, and specifically at HBCUs, are people like me. They care about their communities. They want to see their communities be strengthened. They want to see the businesses in their communities thrive and see the people in their communities do well. And, that is, I think, a noble aspect of entering banking as a career, is that the role of banks is, and we say this all the time at Huntington, the role of a bank is to look out for people, to make their lives better, to strengthen, the communities that they come from, and to help the businesses in those communities thrive. And I think when students look at where they come from, and they think about the opportunity to do those things and to make their communities better and to help the businesses in their communities be successful, I think that's a compelling value proposition for students that are thinking about what they want to do as a career.
I like that, and I think the helping their community. If you're not present, you can't make a difference.
Absolutely.
I would definitely say that. When you think about being a chief diversity officer, you've been recognized as being one of the best in the business, and I'd like to congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
I think that's important. But what do you think that they were seeing in you that you'd like to see other organizations understand that this is what a real chief diversity officer does? And I know from just the whispers and people who've seen you, not just in this position, but they know that you're your authentic self. What does that mean from chief diversity officers? Be your authentic self.
Yeah, I think what that means is, you have to um, be true to who you are as an individual, right? I view myself as a citizen of the community. I hold myself accountable to using my voice and my skills and my platform to strengthen the communities that we serve, and you have to be actively engaged. It's about moving words to action. You have to first listen, and you have to then act in partnership with others to drive positive change.
I like the word change. The question for many is you can be diverse and yet there can still be no equity. How do we make sure that the general population begins to recognize that representation and diversity, but there's no equity without real representation? Can you share the difference between just diversity and equity so people get it?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Munson. And the way that I think about it is that, diversity is a fact, right? We are who we are as individuals, as people. We are essentially born with our diversity. And equity comes as a part of inclusion and making sure everyone is fully participating in all aspects of our economy, be it in terms of the workforce, in terms of education, in terms of access to capital, affordable housing, all of those things that make a community thrive. And so I think when we think about equity, it begins with inclusion and making sure everyone has an opportunity to fully participate.
You think of participation, wealth building. We know that banks and what should we understand about wealth building and saving just as a community? How important is it for our children to understand the value of saving and wealth building?
Yeah, I think it's critical. Historically, Black and Brown people haven't had an opportunity to accumulate wealth through, investing in assets and owning of assets. And so I think now, as we move forward, it's really important that we help educate people in the value of not only holding wealth and accumulating wealth, but what are the processes and policies that need to be cultivated within our communities, right, and passed down. We can do a better job in our educational systems of helping people understand how to use money in their life and how to use it to grow and accumulate wealth. And I think that's sort of where it starts.
Super. Some of at least one or two of your best programs that you're really proud of that you really get to engage with over at Huntington. Can you share some insight for those who really may not know what you're doing, but I know you're doing a lot?
Yeah, well, and one that we recently introduced is a program called Magnus Cards in partnership with a company called Magnus Mode. And as we think about doing the right things for our customers, colleagues, shareholders, and communities, we're proud to collaborate with Magnus Mode and their leader, Nadia Hamilton. Our CEO, Steve Steinauer, connected with Nadia and was intrigued by this concept that she had of using digital card decks to help autistic and neurodiverse people better navigate everyday life experiences. And after having a conversation with Nadia, we decided to partner with her and use the Magnus Cards app, which is free. And we developed 9 digital card decks to guide autistic and neurodiverse people through various everyday banking activities, like how to use an ATM, depositing checks using a mobile app, opening a checking account, using a debit card to make retail purchases. And, what we are finding is that there are many people and their caregivers, quite frankly, that need additional support. And we want to make sure, back to accessibility, that everyone has the opportunity to be effective and going through, everyday transactions, including using essential banking tools and resources. And then secondly, we have a colleague plan here at Huntington that we developed in 2020, and it's focused on culture and inclusion, career advancement, and the talent experience that all of our colleagues have. And it makes us a better and more inclusive employer, and it also strengthens the culture here at Huntington. And we're really proud of that, and our colleagues are proud of our culture. And it's really, again, steeped in our welcome to all and our desire to expand that and becoming a Category 1 organization.
When you talk about being able to allow the partnership, it's a real case for the entrepreneur that they
Yes.
now have a case study. What would you say to young entrepreneurs who are thinking about being in business? What should they know about establishing a relationship with a bank before you go into business?
Yeah, I think it's really important. People that start businesses are people that have great ideas and great passion, and they're not necessarily experienced in all of the operational aspects of running and sustaining a business. And that's where I think a bank can be really helpful, not just in terms of access to capital to begin and grow a business, but also to provide support for all of those other skills that are needed to ensure that a business operates and grows successfully.
And thank you for that. Being a mentor, and I'm sure you are to many, what is it like being a mentor? Because you're obviously one of a few in an organization where you at least have access to a CEO. And what is it like to be a mentor to a diverse group of young people, both Black and white, that ask? And what should they know about asking and getting insight from a mentor, and why they should have one?
Yeah, I think it's critical. I have personally benefited from mentors and sponsorship in my own career, and it's been honestly, I don't know that I would be in the position that I am without it. And so I think it's a critical aspect of career development and the professional journey that one goes on. And and as you think about mentorship and sponsorship, seek out the people that can see your potential, right? And can help to identify your strengths and your skills and help motivate you to maximize them. I think that's the thing that I look for, and what I try to do for people that I mentor is really try to motivate and inspire them to achieve their full potential and get the results that they're looking for.
Yeah, great, great answer, insight, because I think our community needs to know one, ask for one, understand. You used the word sponsorship. For people who don't know what that is, what is sponsorship when you get inside of corporate America?
Yeah, I mean, simply stated, Munson, it is someone that is, willing to speak positively on your behalf when you're not in the room, right? Someone that will advocate for you, someone that will illuminate the things that you do and the value that you bring when you're not present.
Thank you. Many don't know the arsenal of uh, tools that you put on from everyday knowledge acquisition. What would you suggest so that people are prepared and prepare themselves in terms of self improvement, access to information that they should be reading as they're developing themselves when they think of themselves as business people? Like, what are some of the things that you do so that they could know this is something that they should be doing as they're staying current on business and as being an executive?
Yeah, I think today, it begins with communication, right? Strong written and oral communication skills, I think, are critically important. The ability to build relationships in today's world is vital. And then, you have to be a good listener and, act with courage and, you know, I think that the people that are working on, how do I become an empathetic listener? How do I embrace vulnerability? How do I engender trust with others in the relationships that I have? You will learn the technical skills in whatever career you choose, but it's those interpersonal, behavioral communication and relationship building skills that are most valuable, I think, in the world today.
Yeah, that's a great answer because I think people need to know those skills are still required. You can't, and important to hear. You really shared listening, empathy, in creating culture, because clearly that's one of the things in your title. What type legacy when they say, "Hey, Dennis was here"? What do you want them to feel? What should we know that your print on Huntington will be when they say Dennis was here?
I think, and what I hope that they will say is that I was an engaged leader, that I was a committed partner, that I was a coach, and that the things that I touched, I made better.
Cool. Last two questions is one, what's it like having access to a CEO of a major financial institution like Huntington when you have to have that difficult conversation?
I can, speak to my situation here at Huntington, having the access and opportunity to work with Steve Steinauer every day is amazing. He has been and continues to be committed to DE&I and the culture of our organization, and has a vision for the type of company that we want to be in terms of being distinctive and how we think about workforce diversity, how we think about supplier diversity, how we look out for our colleagues and our customers, and our shareholders. And, we have a lot of conversations about how we can continue to be better. That kind of support is invaluable when you're trying to, make transformational change, not only at Huntington, but in the communities that we serve. And so I couldn't be more appreciative of the support that I get from Steve here at Huntington.
Now, I just want everybody watching to see the table. If a chief diversity officer doesn't have access to a CEO, they are not a chief diversity officer. They are just someone there. And I like the fact that you can and do have access. So I want our community to know how important it is to have someone who at least has access to the CEO.
Yeah, I think elevating these roles across corporate America is critical, and having the ability to influence all aspects of the organization, I think is an opportunity for companies to get, again, diverse perspectives, and to help transform the culture of the company.
Lastly, when you think about the aspect of now you're chief diversity officer and you're going to take a break, how important is it for people to understand that you do need, as a Black executive, to give yourself grace and take a break, not be there every day, but that rest and relaxation and breaks are important even in your career?
Oh, absolutely, Munson. I mean, and self-care and taking care of your well-being. There are days, as much as I love what I do, and I'm excited about the opportunity that I get to start my day helping people, and that's my job. I love it, but it can be exhausting because the last 3 years in particular have been very challenging in terms of racial and social injustice, a global pandemic, and there's people are going through things, right? And so a lot of times the chief diversity officer is the resource that people are coming to have caring conversations and to get support for themselves. And so it's a labor of love, but you do have to take moments to apply self-care and look out for one's own well-being as well. And I try to do that as much as I'm able.
Super. Just want to thank you for spending time here at a seat at the table at Rolling Out. I really appreciate all the effort and the knowledge exchange and the skill set exchange that you gave to our community. Ladies and gentlemen, the brother who is truly there, and we appreciate you being at Huntington, the EVP, Chief Diversity Officer and Cultural Officer at Huntington Bank, Donald Dennis. Thanks so much for being here at a seat at the table.
Thank you, Munson. It's my pleasure to be with you and your audience today. Thank you very much.